Google is coming out with the big stick, folks. When you have a giant headline on New York Times by Cade Metz, you know that it's done something big, right? So in this case, we are talking about Project Mariner, and this is this huge AI agent. And this is a prototype, but it can, as an AI agent will promise, autonomously navigate and interact with web browsers. You may have seen this and caught even our podcast or somebody else's about Anthropic and Claude with computer use. Come on, Anthropic, computer use? Seriously, that's the name of it? No, Mariner, that's the name that you want. But guys, this is what this does. We keep hearing about agents, right? Copilot agents, which are essentially just custom GPTs. Salesforce is coming out with agents, which aren't really agents. All these things that we're talking about, AI agents, this is going to rule the future. When we actually see what this starts to look like, it gets really exciting. When you see Google putting out something that can take over your machine and actually start completing tasks, that gives me goosebumps. Jaeden, what are you seeing on this?
Yeah, no, I think this is super, super exciting. I think pretty much Anthropic coming out with their tool made Google dance, made everyone dance. Everyone's making everyone dance at this point. Every time you come up with a new cool AI tool, everyone, like every major AI company, has to try to clamor to adopt and make the same thing. It's kind of like when Google made Notebook LM, went viral for that. All of a sudden, we have 11 labs. Like, hey, look, we can make an AI podcast tool too. Everyone's just trying to do it because no one wants to get left behind or let someone else get the edge. So I do love this. I feel like these companies, some of them have been maybe called sleeping giants, right? Maybe a little bit of sleep at the wheel, getting a little comfortable in their cushy, Google's hundreds of billions of dollars and being the market leader for so long. And all of a sudden we have these new startups that are really eating into maybe their market share or have the potential to do that with their tech. It woke them up. Google, you can say whatever you want about Google. They are not asleep anymore. I want to read Sundar Pichai's announcement about this. And if you're watching over on YouTube or Spotify, you can see some of the demo videos of how this tool is actually working, because essentially what it does is it takes over your Chrome browser and it can allow you to give it a prompt, and it's going to take over your Chrome browser and accomplish a whole bunch of things. So this is what Sundar Pichai said about it. He said, "We're investing in the frontiers of agentic capabilities with a few early prototypes. Project Mariner is built with Gemini 2.0. So this is also the new Gemini they just announced literally 2 hours ago. So they already have this thing implemented into their latest thing. He said it's able to understand and reason across information, pixels, text, code, image, and forms on your browser screen, and then uses that information to complete tasks for you. When evaluated against Web Voyager benchmark, it achieved a state-of-the-art result of, drumroll please, 83.5% working as a single agent setup. This is actually amazing. I'm excited for this.
83.5 working as a single agent setup. Guys, this is the thing that we want to get our heads around. When it comes to agents, how far or how near are we to an AI agent future? Listen, probably not super, super close, like not in the next few months, but at the end of 2025, we have to be. Now, why is this so critical beyond just Google? I want to get back to Google in a second. But here's the thing. If you work in any kind of corporate setting, you probably have, if you are at least a leader in that, in any kind of way, you have to start setting goals, right? Especially if you're in the senior leadership level. You're talking about 1, 2, 3 years out. And okay, we are just now getting our heads around generative AI. What can this do? When you see agents, you realize, holy cow, like I was at the starting line and these people have already started the marathon an hour before I did. Now, first of all, you are not behind. But second of all, you have to understand that when you see what Google is doing with agents, and when you see that they're going up against Anthropic and going up against OpenAI and going up against other giant organizations doing this, they are in a race for survival. They are not going to slow down. So when you are doing your big strategic plans, you have to start counting on what AI agents will look like. Probably not this year, but in a couple of years, you have to start thinking about this. So usually, Jaeden, right? I'm kind of the one that's like, guys, don't really worry about this. Not a big deal. It's fun to look at. Sora, it's really cool, but nothing's really going to happen with Sora in your world. This is going to impact your world. You may not have access to it right now, but knowing that it's out there, Jaeden, right? Like this is what you're doing with AI Box. You are building tools that people can use for their own workflow. So you're keeping a close eye on this. How is this going to impact work from your standpoint?
I'm really excited. I've always been very bullish on AI agents, and I think we're building a lot of AI tools on our platform and letting people build those AI tools. And I think that they're gonna go work hand in hand with these agents. Essentially, going to tell an agent, "Hey, I want to accomplish this X, Y, and Z thing. Go over to AI Box, grab this tool, use that to accomplish the thing, and you're going to get. It's going to have a predetermined prompt, and it'll give you a really an outcome that is very predictable and very high quality. So I'm excited about this. Okay, what I did want to mention though is the fact that this is sort of still it's still like a prototype, right? This thing
Right.
isn't out in the wild 100%. But it's coming out of labs.google. So I wanted to actually show a little video that walks through what is going on here. You can hear this as well. It's audio as well if you're just listening on Apple, but if you're on Spotify or YouTube, you should be able to see this. But it talks a little bit about this project, which is really kind of coming out of labs.google, which is DeepMind. So this is kind of their lab, and then I want to get your take on what they are saying here, Connor. Oh, and I wanted to ask Connor, can you hear that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so
Yeah.
I thought this was so fascinating. One thing I wanted to say is how they mentioned this is a demo, so we sped it up for demo purposes. Google got so roasted with their previous demos, selectively editing, and people called them deceptive. So I think they're really trying to be transparent and honest. Happy they learned from that. But Connor, give me your take. What do you think about this?
I mean, so this is the thing, right? So if you can watch this demo, and hopefully our audio audience can sort of get a sense of it, but it was very, very impressive, right? It's sort of like, hey, I just need to do this task. Can you do it for me? And it will do it for you. And remember, folks, this is just a prototype. I think one of the mistakes we make is, oh, well, this is amazing. It's going to do this right now, and this is going to change. No, this is just showing what it is going to do. I think one of the huge things that Jensen Huang of NVIDIA said was, I want a country of a company of 100 million agents. But remember that agents are essentially workers. You have to train them. When she says keep a human in the loop, it's sort of like, hey, if you're managing a team, you have to keep a human in the loop, right? You have to keep a manager in the loop to make sure people aren't going off the rails. It's the same thing. Remember, this is a tool that doesn't really behave like software. It behaves like a human. And so I think the really interesting thing is that this is giving a sense of where this is going to go. Right now, I don't know how useful it is because all that stuff that it's doing, you have to sort of watch while it's navigating your computer. And what are you doing? Just kind of sitting there, So I think that what this is better at is giving you a sense of when these things can operate in the background and when they can do really small specific tasks. Like, hey, go find who this person is and what they do. And that's the only task that this agent will do. That's when you have to start thinking about what tasks AI will take away and who in your organization has those tasks and what that does to their job as a whole. It's not about taking jobs, it's about taking tasks. But I got to say, Jaeden, I thought that was super impressive. What were your thoughts on that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see how this kind of transforms and moves forward. As we close out, I wanted to read one last quote that I think really gives you a great, this is from the folks over at DeepMind, but it gives you a really great just understanding or thought, I guess, of how we really have to start thinking about this. They said Project Mariner is a fundamentally new UI paradigm shift that we're seeing right now. We need to figure out what is the right way for all of this to change the users to change the way users interact with the web and the way publishers can create experiences for users as well as for agents in the future. This is so fascinating to me because not only are they're trying to think about how are people going to be using their computers if these agents are doing a lot of this stuff, but also websites, you're going to get a whole bunch of traffic from these agents and not humans that are crawling your site. Can you charge for advertising to agents? What are the rules about this? Are you going to get a whole bunch of bandwidth used because your website has a useful resource that all these agents are going to go to, but it costs you a ton of money and you're not going to be able to monetize it? There is a lot that is going to be shifting very quickly. That's why Connor and I, always want to bring this up with you, on AI Applied, is because these are the things you absolutely have to be thinking about for yourself and for your companies.
100%. This is it, guys. This is the kind of thing that when you are doing your planning, we're at the end of the year, when you're doing your planning, know that this is on the horizon and start planning now. You cannot just all of a sudden do a U-turn in your battleship, especially if you are at a big company, but even if you're a part of a big team. Listen, the news week, Jaeden and I could be here all day, and we would love to be here all day. But Jaeden, as usual, is jet setting around. That guy, we can't keep him in one place. But listen, if this year has inspired you with this podcast, just understand that I would be nothing on this podcast if it was not for Jaeden. Jaeden has taught me the art of podcasting. The guy is an absolute master. He probably has like 30 podcasts that you don't even know about. And he has a course. The link will be in the description. Guys, 2025 should be the year you start your podcast. I'm telling you, this is the future. This is a way to sort of organize your thoughts, get your voice out there. Everybody starts small. Jaeden started small. He's now closing in on 5 million downloads. And listen, there's nothing special about Jaden's brain. He just understood and cracked the code on how to make podcasts. And the guy is a crazy, mad scientist. And I have seen his course. It's unbelievable. Guys, that's the only course you need. And I'm not pitching that because he's my buddy. I'm telling you, it's absolutely unbelievable. Use that, make it a gift to your loved ones this Christmas. It's going to be fantastic. And listen, have an amazing, keep up with the AI. We're going to try to help you, but have an amazing rest of your day.